Welcome back to Piano Unlimited. This is PianoTurtle. In today's tutorial, we're going to explore the builder's approach. I will attempt to teach you a piece. I will demonstrate the piece after the tutorial because if I show that to you first, you might get intimidated. You know what? Scratch that. I'm going to assume you won't until you tell me you do. So here it is. I will pretend to teach the way I taught a 5-year-old child, and you will pretend to be the student, and let's just have a little bit of fun. Here we go. Tina. Little Tina never took piano lesson. Her mommy Tammy did. Tina was nervous, but not too nervous. She came into my studio for the first time and saw the huge T-Rex, and she did not get scared of the T-Rex. In fact, she loved it. So I told her to give it 2 thumbs up. I didn't ask her to show me her pinkies. She did. It was at that moment I knew Jingle Bells, or Mary Had a Little Lamb, or Ode to Joy was going to be accomplished. I proceeded to teach Tammy, the mommy, where all the C's are, and she gave me a surprised look. She said, "Why are you showing me this?" Right? And she gave me a surprised look. And then she smiled because she remembered that she told me that she's a homeschooling mom. Jingle Bells was taught in the first 20 minutes of lesson and played multiple times. With my accompaniment, it sounded wonderful to her ears. I asked the mom if she can do some basic accompaniment, and she said, "Yeah, I took piano before, and this is going nothing like I imagined." Since things went according to plan, I began teaching a small masterpiece. I simply switched some numbers up. Instead of 3-3-3, 3-3-3, 3-5-1-2-3. I had her play hands separate as well, a different set of numbers. And at this time, both the mom and the daughter did not know what the piece was. Tina's tiny hands did the job. She did not care about the mistakes because she did not know they were mistakes. But eventually, this little tune is what she felt and played. I accompanied her with my other hand. I shared with her these numbers: 2, 4, 2, 1, 1, and I told her to not let go until the next finger plays. So instead of the words rest, this time I used the word hold and wait. I put her thumb on G instead of letting it naturally fall on A. She did it. As she was playing, I wrote the numbers down and asked her to read it. She read it. She's 5. She's seen the numbers before, including the commas. So I gave her praise and placed a little penny onto the piano. She eyeballed the penny. I said, "Do it again." She looked at the penny and did it again, but this time slower. She slowed down by herself. Yep. And I think the penny had something to do with it. I smiled. It was a success. Then I said to her, "Now do the first 4 notes only, not the last one. Only the 2, 4, 2, 1. She did, because it's a repeat. And then I asked her to use her pinky to find and play exactly the note that her thumb did, and she used her pinky to play exactly what the thumb played. Yep, she found the note and went naturally to where her thumb is. It is then I said, no, not this one. Can you find another that looked the same and play it with your pinky? She looked at me, still puzzled. It is at that point I gave a straight answer. I pointed to the note G an octave higher. She did. I placed 2 pennies down. She looked at it. It was then I told her to step down to 4, and she did. Then I said, step down. She did. Down. Did. Down. All the way to 1. And then I said, down again, and she looked at me. Yep. She looked at me and hopped down with 1. That's when I smiled and said, very good, very good. You changed position. Is changing position hard? She said, huh? What? Oh, you just moved down your thumb down a position. Is that hard? She said, no. So I placed her thumb back up and said, now put your 3 1 note below. She twisted her hand. She twisted her hand and she put a 3 right there. All right. I said, okay, let's do that again. I gently held her thumb in place, just like this. And this time she reached over with 3 and pressed down with 3, to which I said, now press 4 3 4. And she did. She even did it while saying 4 3 4. Then I stopped saying what was obvious and I switched to something that was just as obvious but more relatable. I said step up instead of go to 5. Step up. See, that's more relational than a direct answer. That's more clue based. She did. I said now go all the way down to 1, step by step, and her cute little hand did it. Follow along now, on your lap or at the keys. I turned to her mom and I asked this rhetorical question. I asked, it's stepwise. How is she going to mess that up? She answered me. She said, I can't, because she just did it. I didn't expect that. After all, I don't know the person. Her mom looked at her daughter and smiled. I felt good about it, and I placed a dime on the piano. She looked at it. And then I asked her, would you like to continue? She nodded. I said, do the beginning while I point to the numbers. I wrote. I said nothing. She read the numbers. She had one experience with it. And guess what? She read it right, and auto-correcting happened. When she made a mistake, she says, oh no. It's so cute. In the beginning, I did not have her look at the numbers on her own because I didn't know her very well, but now I was certain she was able to do it. When she made a mistake, I simply said no. She even said no sometimes before I even said no, because I like to wait a little bit. She tried again. I said the same mistake. She tried again, made the same mistake. I said, oops, that's the same mistake. And that's when I saw her place her hand down on her lap, just for a brief second, with the slightest hint of giving up. It happened naturally. She wasn't even aware of it. It is at that point I plugged the memory and moved her thumb to the G position, and I said, there it is. Remember the G? And she said, oh yeah. I said to her, I thought you were about to quit for a second there. She said, nuh-uh. I relocated her hand to the C position and give her the number 3. And then I said, now push that note down, skip up to 5. Don't play 4, skip to 5. Now skip back to 3. And then I didn't say skip down to 1. I simply said, now skip down, just to see if she's computing and relating to the instruction. Changing relatability of instruction given. Again, I do not think it's beneficial to offer exact answers. It reduces her mental activity. We can learn the piece, or we can learn to learn the piece. And then I said the following numbers. I pointed to her fingers and I said 4, 2, 3, 1. 4, skipping down to 2, stepping up to 3, and skipping down to 1. Skip, step, skip, step. Yep. I pointed to her and I said, play that entire set of numbers on this note, the E. She did. She pressed slowly 4, 2, 3, 1. And then I moved her to another note, the C, and she did the same thing. I told her just repeat. And then she did it on A. But on A, I said just do half of that, just do 4 and 2. She did. And then I said, when it comes to the 2, play the black key instead, just for fun. She did. I put another dime on the piano. It was then I played for her and asked her to play the pattern. I did the entire 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, and she slowly did. Now let me tell you something. This is a scenario where it worked. The question is, do you think it can work for you or somebody you know? It was then the doorbell rang, and my next student, Henry, arrived. I quickly said to the mom, oh wow, time flew. Theme 2 is stepwise. You've taken piano before? Stepwise and octaves. We already covered octaves, right? In the first 2 measures. The ending is a mixture of stepwise and skipwise. We covered all that. Can you teach her the rest of the piece throughout the week? Have her identify notes, clap some rhythm. I expect her answer to be no, really. But she said yes, with a huge grin on her face. Why? Because she happens to be a teacher homeschooling her daughter. She's used to the concept of teaching at home. And because of that scenario, I rolled with it. I knew that when we had our phone interview. She also took piano when she was a kid. Now I can tell you this, it took her 3-4 years to get to the piece. That's why she was grinning, because her daughter was doing it right in front of her eyes. She understood what I was doing. She was very willing to assist in the journey. But even though she agreed, she had to just throw this in there. She had to say, but in a way, I would rather see you do it. And to that I said, sure. But that's 6 days later. Do you want to waste 6 days and have her play nothing? She doesn't need to do anything. The next tutorial should be done like right now, right after. She has not shown signs of tiredness, of boredom. She has not shown any signs. And I know she wants the coins. Tina would be bored out of her mind playing the same thing over and over again, because we only covered the first 2 lines. The last 3 lines is a repetition anyway. It will give her such a sense of accomplishment. And if I can show you how to show her stuff, man, her progress is going to skyrocket. 50 lessons at this level should be 50 days. But with the 6-day gap, it will be a year. You really want her to finish the piece within a year and just leave it all up to me? She said, well, when you put it that way, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You told me over the phone, I said to her, you told me over the phone she's smart and gifted and shows some interest. That is all true. I can tell you that right now. Tammy then said, but what if I teach her wrong? I mean, I've never even thought to operate like this, because, you know, what if I said, okay. I nearly cut her off and I said, look, at this pacing, at this pace, you can afford to make mistakes. Even if she does only 1/3 and accomplish only 1/3 of what can be accomplished, she's still ahead. Not according to my rules, but, you know, traditionally speaking, okay? She will be playing original Mozart before the semester is over. I took the coins off the piano. I asked for permission from the mom if I can give it to her. She said, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I handed the coins to Tina and she said, thank you. I said, you're welcome. Yeah, we said our goodbyes and I proceeded to play Beethoven's 5th Symphony with Henry. And Henry was only 2 years older. In the next story, in the next tutorial, we will continue with Tina's journey. A few important perspectives. Number 1, this is not the only example of a first lesson. What I'm sharing is just the alternate mentality. All right, this sonatina is not the only piece that can be done. Number 2, it is totally okay to learn at a far more leisure pace, because this little masterpiece is generally not expected until year 3 or 4. We have all that time, right? What I'm doing is simply using the builder's approach. Yeah, it's not expected. I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not. Kids are way smarter than ever before. Just look at what they can do on a cell phone. It's a mini computer. People take classes to do what they're doing. I can easily admit to my limitations when it comes to operating a computer. Some of them type as well. In fact, I can bet most of you can type too, since you're on YouTube. Hands together has never been an issue for you, right? Matching a 5 with a 4 and 3 with a thumb with a third finger. Redirect some of that intelligence. Relate it to music and bam, piano whiz kid in the works. The third perspective, it's totally okay to know that and wait until year 4. I have very low expectations. I taught Tina this way only because on the phone, Mommy Tammy already expressed that she heard stories about me, saw another student of mine perform, and requested that I don't hold back. Even then I surprised her. Here's another perspective. I do have alternate programs of progress. Let's be real here. Some parents have heard about my teaching style, and before they even met me, before they even experienced the first lesson, they were already intimidated and asked me to take it easy during the interview process. They said, "Oh, we're not looking to be professionals," and it's okay, right? But I'll slow down if the child tells me to slow down, not because you don't think your child can. Does that sound fair to you? And they usually say, yeah, that sounds fair, and then the surprises come. And finally, as with all methods, limitation exists. In this case, since the piece is 7 lines long, and we only cover 2 lines, a sense of completion may not be felt. But hey, we can always find smaller pieces like Jingle Bells, right? Thank you for watching. To be continued.